The first time I heard it, I thought it was a dream. A melody so hauntingly beautiful it couldn't be real. But it was.
Henry had spent decades at the top of his game, conducting symphonies that brought audiences to their feet. But now, in the quiet of his retirement, the nights were long. The applause faded. It started one night at 3:13 a.m. He woke to the sound of violins, faint but flawless, playing a tune he'd never heard before. He stumbled to his living room, convinced he'd left the radio on, but it was off. The sound seemed to seep from the wall, the floor, even the air itself. Each night, the music returned. It grew louder, richer, as if an invisible orchestra surrounded him. The violins wept, the cellos groaned, the trumpets roared. Henry couldn't resist. He transcribed every note, losing himself in the maddening beauty of the symphony. But then he began to notice changes. His hands, once steady, now trembled. The wrinkles on his face deepened, his hair thinned, his energy drained. The doctor said it was stress, but Henry knew better. One night, driven by obsession and fear, he stayed awake, waiting for the music to start. At 3:13, it came, a crescendo so powerful it made his heart pound. He followed the sound to his attic, a place he hadn't visited in years. He opened the door. Inside, shadowy figures stood, barely human shapes with hollow eyes. They held instruments carved from bones, their fingers impossibly long and thin, gliding over strings and keys. "Who are you?" Henry whispered, his voice trembling. One figure turned, its eyes like twin voids. It didn't speak, but Henry felt the answer. "We are the Symphony. You summoned us with your longing." As the orchestra played, Henry felt his life slipping away, years vanishing with every note. His hands aged before his eyes, his knees buckled. The music was feeding on him. He tried to scream, to run, but the melody wrapped around him like chains. The conductor in him, the artist, couldn't resist. He raised his hands, trembling, and began to conduct. The shadows followed, their haunting tune obeying his every gesture. To this day, locals swear they hear ghostly music from Henry's house, long abandoned. Some say it's the most beautiful melody they've ever heard. Others say it's the sound of a man's soul, slowly fading into nothing.